Well, then I guess I just don't understand the point of the scene.
It's about when Mira goes off her meds.
Yeah, no, I know that. Thank you. I mean, I don't understand why there's this whole romantic bit where you swoop in and save her and act like you guys are meant to be together when this is a movie about a shit relationship.
The scene is about the fact that these two people, while they have a very strong animalistic connection, they're ultimately only going to hurt each other. It's about the tragedy of realizing a relationship is too intense to survive.
Adam, that's us. We're the intense ones. All you and Hannah ever did was sit around watching those shows about when fat people do up their houses or whatever, or you ate Frito-Lays in bed. And then you met me, remember? And then you met me, and then we had a real connection. You had real feeling, and that's what this movie's about.
Did you even read the script?
No, I didn't read the script. I'm a producer. I don't need to read scripts. I'm here to produce. And your handwriting shit, by the way. I couldn't read a word of it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 6, Episode 5, which is Episode 57 overall. It is titled Gummies. It is directed by Jesse Peretz, written by Sarah Hayward. The original air date was March 12th, 2017, to an audience of 703,000 people, 0.703 million. And I think that my prediction came true from the last episode.
Are absolutely right. You know, you straight edge monster, but you knew your drugs. You knew your drug references when you saw them in the title.
I knew somebody was going to be tripping out on some gummies, baby.
You didn't expect who would be tripping out on them, but...
Yeah, no, I think that my prediction for who it would be was wrong, but nevertheless, I'll give it a half correct.
No, that's a full correct. You don't have to go extra credit if you got the person right.
All right, well, I'll take it then. This episode's got a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff going on. Me and Vance were talking before we started recording about how one of the joys of watching this show is that we never know what to expect when we hit play, and today was no different.
Yeah, we just don't know if it's going to be heartfelt, if it's going to be one of those very special episodes, if it's going to be over the top silly and absurd. And I mean, that's no matter what we think about the show overall, I will say you got to give it credit for keeping you off on your toes and never knowing what to expect, you know? Like if you were watching this when it was airing live, like you turn on TV and you just don't know. You just don't know.
You know you're about to go on an adventure, but to where, you have no idea.
Yeah. And if you hung into Season 6, you're in for the long haul. So they can just do whatever, and you're
exactly. All right, I think that we can break this down into three main stories. We've got Hannah's story. We've got a Ray story once again, and we've got an Adam and Jessa story.
Yeah, Ray's just one of the girls.
Yeah, Ray is more one of the girls than two of the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point. Do you think that was like a switch up because everybody started to be like, we really like Ray? Like they did field research and they're like, who's your favorite characters? And everyone's like, Ray. We want to see more
It's
Ray.
hard to say if it's like actor availability in the Season 6, you know, and I'm not speaking specifically like with Shoshana's character, because she's not in a lot this season so far.
Yeah, she's barely in this season.
She'll get her scenes and like the credit as one of the four girls, but like she doesn't have any meaty scenes. Like the networking scene a couple episodes ago, I think, or was that? Yeah, was basically that was her biggest scene, I think, this season.
Yeah, but she makes a tiny little appearance on this episode. But I guess we should start with Ray. You think?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So Ray is still kind of going through it because Hermie died. That was his mentor, his confidant, his guy that he kind of looked up to, but also wanted to do better than, and that's what Hermie wanted for him. So he's still kind of going through it. with that, and he's going through all of his stuff. Apparently Hermie left everything to Ray in his will.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a family. Even though it seems like he did, but I don't think he does. I'm
fairly certain he said that he had a wife in the last episode. Ray did.
Yeah, was he saying he had a wife or that he has a wife? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, he has a bachelor pad. That is a bachelor pad
for sure.
Yeah,
borderline hoarder bachelor pad.
Exactly.
But so Shoshana comes to, comfort Ray, I guess, to give her condolences to Ray because he's taking it kind of hard, and Ray's is kind of in this existential thing about like, you never know when you're gonna go. Hermie, he had a disease called scleroderma.
Yeah, I meant to look that up and I didn't look it up.
Yeah, apparently it has no symptoms or signs of like when you're dying from it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. But fucking Hermie's been talking about how he doesn't have much time left since like season 1 or 2. But Ray's kind of like, of course Hermie would get the disease that no one's heard of, the most indie disease in the world, and then he would die from it.
I just looked it up just because curiosity. Right. It says it's a long-lasting disease that affects your skin, connective tissue, and internal organs. It happens when your immune system causes your body to make too much of the protein collagen, an important part of your skin. As a result, your skin gets thick and tight, and scars can form on your lungs and kidneys.
Damn, that sounds fucking brutal.
So it seems like it does have external things, though.
Yeah, you would be able to see that. I feel it's just like scarring all over your skin.
Yeah, it looks like the pictures on Google have like have people's hands, are like swollen and like rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, also on Google, they always show you the worst pictures,
And we just wasted people's time with a little medical corner.
Well, it's Vance's medical corner, yeah.
We don't Google everything else. No, that's the one thing we Google.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we're like, we'll never know.
Yeah.
There's no way. You guys Google it if you want to know. If you got scleroderma, write in.
If a character dies of a disease, the boys will look into it.
Yeah. So Ray's, lamenting Hermie's life and, saying like he doesn't want, it's all going to come for us. We got to make the most of our lives or whatever. And Shoshana has a little funny joke about like, it's really weird because I will never die. It's weird. Like I had this weird thing, I won't die. And then Ray's like, ha ha ha, I'm glad because I need you.
That reminded me of a scene seasons ago when Jessa was talking to Shoshana about dying. Mm-hmm. And they were like, it was like right before she goes to get the job at the children's store or something. And I think it was that Jessa said she wasn't ever going to die. And Shoshana said she went to like a fortune teller who said that she was going to die at a certain age or something. I feel like it just reminded me of that with that thing. I don't know.
What if this turns into like some kind of weird superhero thing where Shoshana is immortal?
That would be amazing. If the last episode she just gets hit by a bus and comes back to life, like cheerleader and hero story, and that
she just gets thrown. Girls. She just kind of gets like thrown down the street a little bit, and then she gets up. She's like, "Oh, that was literally like the worst thing that could have happened today." I spilled my coffee all over the place.
And then she just rips off Marnie's head, and you find out that she's like an evil alien invader.
Yeah. Take it to the bank, everybody. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Enjoy that fanfic no one's writing.
And I think that kind of basically sums up that scene, right? Mm-hmm. Not too much going on.
I like Ray and Shoshana's relationship. They seem to get along great. Yeah,
it's really fun and it's really nice because Ray is such a lovable chap. And we want to see the best for Ray. Yeah. And then we get the complete opposite relationship with him and Marnie, who he is still like dating. And Marnie is like trying to help him go through Hermie's stuff because it's all Ray's now, and Ray's kind of fascinated and be like, look at all this stuff. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's weird to see Hermie as a kid. Like, look at all this stuff. And Marnie's just kind of like, yeah, you know, we were all kids once. Yeah. Marnie does not want to be there at all.
I can give Marnie a slight, I'm not giving her a full pass at all on this, but I can give her a slight pass of like, this is stuff she wouldn't be interested in. Because this is stuff that Ray's interested in. He's going through old VHSs and talking about like his old Skinamax and stuff. It's like Emmanuel's and all of this stuff that she would care nothing about, just because one, it's not about her, and two, because I don't really know what she likes actually. If you think about
I have
it.
no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what's her thing, you know?
Well, her thing just like, it morphs with whoever she's with, it seems, or it changes so often.
Like, you couldn't even name a band that she likes, you know what I mean? And she's been talking about music for 3 seasons or more. Yeah,
she's a professional musician at this point, and you're like, who do you sound like? And it's like, oh, we sound like Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. And then Desi is like, no, we fucking don't. I don't want to sound like that.
Yeah, and at least with Jessa, like, you know, things that she's not going to like and things that she's going to be giddy over because it's so absurd. Like, oh my God, I have to find out more about this weird person. And you know, Shoshana is such a star fucker and fanboy kind of person, and like wants to like business power, you know, and Ray's into obscure stuff, and Desi's into like healing feelings, you know. And just Marnie, we never get a full grasp of what she's all about.
Yeah, but I will tell you, she is not about going through Hermie stuff with Ray, which, like, like with you, like you said, give her like a half pass because, you know, it wouldn't be interesting.
Yeah,
you know, it's weird stuff, but you can feign a little just because, you know, Ray is taking it kind of hard.
Exactly,
and she's trying. Well, it doesn't even seem like she's trying too hard.
Yeah, she's not trying at all.
She's physically there, and that's the most amount of effort that she has put forth.
Is it possible to have an outer body experience in that situation? Because that's what she is. Like, she's a shell of a person standing there.
Yeah. But Ray is happy, and he's going through all this stuff, and he finds it all fascinating, and he's showing Marnie, and she's like, yeah, Ray, cool. And then she's like, oh, I just remembered I have a thing I gotta go to. I gotta go. See ya. And then Ray's like, didn't you say that you had that yesterday? And she's like, oh, no, I had another thing yesterday, but now I had this other, some kind of fitness class, Sculpt 57 or something, and the class that she had yesterday was Quiet Pilates. And Ray's like, dude, if you just want to go. Like, you don't need to stay here if you're not enjoying yourself. And she's like, no, I'm here for you. I'm here for you because you need me here. And he's like, well, I don't need you here. I want you here. But if you're going to be like a fucking asshole about it, then just leave. And then she's like, no, I'll stay. But I really should go. And it's just like, you know what?
It's the worst. Like, she's talking about like, oh, don't put words in my mouth. I'm like, you just made up an excuse out of nowhere to leave.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? Just go. And she's like, you sure? Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'll go.
She's like, well, you know what? How about I go and then we meet up afterwards and we can do something after you've gone through all of this stuff. And then Ray's like, hey, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. You know what might be a better idea? If we just break up. Let's break up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, you do not want to be here with me doing this. You never make time to hang out with me. I want more from this relationship. You're always busy. You're always out doing things. And whenever we are together, it's like you're not even there. So let's just fucking break up. And she's like, I mean, I make time for you all the time. And he's like, dude, you couldn't stand being here for 20 fucking minutes while I'm going through like my friend's stuff. And then she basically calls him cliche because he's like, well, you never know when we're going to go. And because who gives a fuck about this guy that you barely really even knew and wasn't really like your friend. And I was like, dude, this is not the time to be doing
Oh, did she say that? I don't remember her saying that, but
she said something about like, you weren't even really that close to this guy.
Oh.
Like, why are you getting so cliche about this when you barely even knew this guy?
Oh, I thought she said something like, I can't believe someone dies and you're going to like upend your whole life because of it, like breaking up with her.
She probably said that too, but I definitely
Nope.
remember her saying like, you barely even knew this guy. Like, what do you care?
Really?
And then,
wow.
Yeah.
He definitely knew him pretty well. Like he gave him
Yeah.
a business and left everything to him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But it's the last
then
line. It's the last line. It really.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
Ray's like, yeah, you know what? Let's just break up. And then Marnie's like, okay. And then he just goes into another room. She puts her purse around her shoulder and she says to Ray, hey, I'm not a bad person, just so you know. And then leaves.
And that's it. That's what we get for her the whole episode. And it was like last week when she was with Desi. And
Yeah.
she does a horrible thing. And then that's it. We don't get any. Like, I'm so curious to see where they're going with Marnie. Because it's just like downhill right now.
Yeah, dude, they only have 5 episodes left to write this course. Like,
Like, I don't know if they need to write it, but like, I just don't know where she ends up.
yeah, and it's not like she's in it a lot either. Like her stories are just like, I'm going to be the most selfish person for one scene,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be the most hateable person, and then I'm leaving. See ya.
I'm out. You need me to come in and be awful for 5 minutes? Check.
Yeah. I'll be awful and then blame the other person for why I'm being awful, and then deuces.
Yeah. But yeah, and I guess we do have another race scene real quick.
Yeah. But you know what? I feel good for Ray, standing up, just being like, dude, I see where this is going. You're not fully invested in this, and I want somebody that's fully invested in this. So let's just break up.
You know what's impressive, really, is that this happened without it being that sitcom-y cliche of him finding out about her sleeping with Desi, which prompts him to do it. Like that hasn't even come up. Like I completely forgot about it until just now. Like she was hooking up with Desi and she's making excuses because sometimes she goes to see him in therapy, I think, and whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not even his motivation for the breakup. It's her being her. And it is the same person he was with. Like, I don't know what he expected.
Yeah, I don't get what he saw in her from the first place, aside from her just being hot.
Yeah.
And she is very hot.
Yeah, she's an attractive lady.
Yeah, I gotta, good for Ray for getting to be with her for a bit, but there are some people that are, hot that are not worth being around.
And ugly on the inside, man.
Yeah. Dude, Marnie, what happened to her?
She's always been bad, but like there is nothing good has changed at all.
I know. It's just all bad. I'm not a bad person, just so you know. Dude,
Yeah.
You've lost if you have to say that, like, you fucked up.
When you have to say that when someone else broke up with you, and that's your final line, you need to like seek help.
Ray did break up with her, but it's been her like purposefully sabotaging it.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying she would be meaner. She would be meaner if like I would picture her being like really lashing out if someone broke up with her, more so than, oh my God, I'm not bad, am I? Yeah.
Well, yeah, the first time that they broke up, she lashed out and was like, oh, is this just like your fantasy that you're the nerd and I'm the cheerleader and you get to break up with the hot chick? Well, you're a fucking loser.
Mm-hmm.
And then she dipped. This time she's like, I'm not a bad person.
Yeah.
And then Ray is listening to old Hermie cassette tapes. I guess he used to do interviews or something with people.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure who
he
was talking to on that, if it was someone known.
Me neither. I didn't know that this side of Hermie. Like, we don't know that much about Hermie. Was he like a journalist or what?
Yeah.
But he's listened to Hermie interview an old lady about basically like living life to the fullest, and he's kind of getting a chuckle out of it because now he realizes that you only got one life to live, Vance.
I thought we had 2 or 3 or 4. Depends on what your
we're
religion
all-
and belief is, actually.
That's very true. That's very true. What do you think is happening after we die, Vance? Let's get to the big topics here.
Big topics. I'm just gonna plead the fifth on that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sad. And it is when someone close to you like that does die, it does change your perspective on things a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But not for Marnie.
No, I gotta lie about going to work out.
Yeah. What a piece of garbage, dude. What a piece of garbage. So that's it for Ray. Nice little arc for Ray. I liked Ray's contributions to this episode, I guess.
You know what? I'll say this. Last episode, I was like, I want to see Shoshana react to Hermes and Hermie, and like, yeah, that's what I needed. Just that one little moment with her. Like she felt,
yeah. It was nice because she actually was like trying to comfort Ray.
Yeah, and also she knew him too and felt sad for it. Also, but,
yeah, she was dancing with him at the end of the last season.
Yeah, but 2 people don't really feel a lot about that.
And it is like a good juxtaposition to see like how much Shoshana cares versus Marnie, who is just like, why do I have to be here?
Yeah, and that
sucks.
That made me think that Shoshana and Ray might get back together.
I think they should. That'd be a nice thing because they get along so well.
Yeah, I think now they're in a good place to do it, but we'll see.
All right, on to Adam and Jessa.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so we see a random lady, Donald Duck in it, Winnie the Pooh in it, shirt on,
always,
no bottoms.
Man. Always, this show. They love it.
Yeah. Shirt on, no bottoms, dancing. And when I first saw this woman, I was like, what the hell is this? Who's this lady? And then it becomes very apparent that it is an actress who is acting in Adam and Jessa's movie about Adam and Hannah and Jessa's relationship. And she's playing the role of Hannah and she's dancing. And then Adam comes over and starts just wailing on her pooper, just smacking the shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's so uncomfortable. When he's going to, like, he's, they're reenacting his borderline abusive relationship with Hannah and the kinky stuff that he's into and what she was allowing and blah, blah, blah. When he was smacking her ass, I was like, this is so hard. Like, there's no acting in this. He's going ham on that ass.
And we see ass, and it is red from
from
the slaps. It was interesting because the way they're filming it, they don't even have a camera on that angle. So I feel like they could have faked the slapping. And I'm sure when they were actually doing it, wasn't. I think he's slapping, but it's fake to make it harder. Like maybe shake the table and then hit,
Yeah, I mean, it has to be fake because, her ass was red. But if he was slapping as hard as it looked like he was slapping, it'd be so much more red.
Yeah.
So much more
What was that
red.
movie that came out? That's the BDSM.
50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. It's for those fans.
Yeah, I mean, damn, dude. Adam was smacking that. And then they start to, smooch and show that they care. And then they cut. And the lady's just like, cool, good scene. I don't know how much more of that ass smacking I can take, but I'm going to take 5. And Adam's like, yeah, sure, cool. Jessa comes over and she's kind of like unhappy with the scene because it seems like Jessa wants it to be more demeaning and mean towards the Hannah character, whereas Adam is talking about like, no, we were in love and this was our relationship, but it just so happened to not work out because we were very intense or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense for the fact that like Jessa never really saw Adam with Hannah. Like,
yeah,
we've seen it watching the show, but like Adam and Hannah had this thing. Like, whatever it was, they had this connection and this thing, and he was genuinely into it. And yeah, he's portraying it as it was, not as Jessa wants it to be. It's like basically like some revenge of how like, I mean, we get into this in a later scene, but how like you got away from this crazy lady and got with me. You're like the perfect one. You found the perfect one in me, kind of thing.
Yeah, you get the kind of like seeds of Jessa being unhappy with the characterization of Hannah because she didn't know the ins and outs of Adam and Hannah's relationship.
Yeah.
But it was like a very passionate, intense relationship, and Adam's, portraying it pretty well. And I think that the scenes that we've seen of their movie being shot, I'm like, yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like we got to start with this whole movie thing. Like, how much time has passed that they ended up getting a script written, casted, and got a crew? Like,
they got a script written. Adam hand wrote the script, apparently.
I'm sure someone had to type that up. Is it? Are they just shooting the scenes, or are they shooting the full movie? Are they making a full movie in this thing?
I think they're shooting just the scenes and then they'll piece it together at the end, because they did move very fast on this. Like, they have a whole crew.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm expecting Hannah's baby to pop at this point. If by the time it took for them to get the script and like a whole crew.
So that's true. Yeah, because Hannah started to sidetrack here. But at the beginning of the episode, Hannah's looking at a lentil, and it says at X amount of weeks or whatever, the baby that she's pregnant with will be the size of a lentil. So not too much time could have passed.
Like zero time. Like, you mean like 2 months haven't passed?
Yeah.
Like, she's not in like the second trimester or something? Like, it's
like, how fast do you think that you can get a crew together and write? Dude, writing a whole fucking script?
Yeah. I mean, I could see Adam writing it and like how like they're like, oh, a writer wrote this over the weekend or like in a week. Say Adam wrote it in a week.
Yeah.
Casting, getting your crew, knowing how Adam is picky, like finding the right person to play Hannah. Like,
yeah,
they
got the ball rolling on this movie super fast. It was very impressive.
Like, they were ready that night. But I will say this about Adam too. Like, his acting and directing in this seems very genuine. Like, when he's doing the scene and he's cutting, he's like very caring of like how she's feeling about the stuff, and like I feel like she feels like she's in a safe spot too. And there's like a female cinematographer.
He seems like a great director, like somebody that you would want to work with.
And he's given her the space. Like he's an actor's, a performer's director. Yeah. Like, even after like all of the ass smacking, he's like, we don't have to do it that much more. Like, I think we got it. Like, I just want to make sure that you're comfortable and you can take my powerful thunderclaps on them booty cheeks. Yeah, Adam's such an interesting character, man, because he's scary and nice at times. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So then we get the next scene of Adam and Hannah's relationship, where it's a scene where Hannah, well, in the movie, her name is Mira. She's off of her meds and she's kind of having a little breakdown, and Adam is helping her back to, he's like comforting her in the scene or whatever. And he's like, the lines are like, I will ruin your life. And he's like, hey, I don't care if you ruin my life. I just want you in my life. And Jessa's watching on like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm watching the guy that I'm with in love with somebody else in this movie. And after they cut, Adam's like, this is fucking awesome. Like, we're killing this shit. And the actress is like, I'm going to take 5. Can I call my sister? And he's like, yeah, sure. Take 5, take 25. I don't care. Like, you're doing great. Yeah. Goes up to Jessa and he's like, isn't this awesome? And Jessa's like, no.
Yeah, she's like, isn't this actress a little, I don't know, not great? And he's like, what are you talking about? She's crushing it.
Yeah. He's like, she's so dropped in. I don't know how you could possibly say that.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious that Jessa's got a problem with, like, she's getting jealous of Adam and Hannah's passionate relationship. And she's like, this isn't a story about how your great love with Hannah. Like, this is the story of how you had a terrible relationship with Hannah, and that's how you found me, and we have a great relationship. And Adam's like, no, it's not. This is a story about our relationship, and it was passionate, it was intense, And that's why it could never work between us, because we would just like explode on each other all the time. And Jessa's like, we're the intense ones. We're the passionate ones. I don't want to have to deal with this. And
yeah, I mean, their relationship is so explosive that it really shouldn't exist. Like,
oh yeah,
like they're two of the same people. Like, you know what I mean? And at least with Hannah, like when you see Hannah do stuff, she can do stuff that's like extreme and not great, but she does it in a different way than Jessa and Adam do things, you know? Hers is going to be more like kind of like just unthoughtful, careless, like really that's the move you pulled, as opposed to like viciously going after someone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Jessa makes mention that she didn't read the script.
Which was my thought when I was like, why is she watching these scenes and being shocked? Like,
yeah, right?
I was like, why you're surprised this is what happened? And he's like, did you read the script? And she's like, no, I'm the producer. I don't have to read the script. And you're just like, what is she doing on this movie?
Yeah.
Like, what did she do to get this together? Like, what did they do?
I have no idea.
I really thought we'd never see this movie.
This is where she says, like, I didn't read the script, plus your handwriting is terrible. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he hand wrote the script? How inconvenient.
Yeah, I'm sure someone had to type that up later.
They had to. Like, he at least had to, like, scan copies for the crew.
It's no way the actress is reading handwritten lines.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Jessa is very unhappy. She's jealous of Adam's past relationship. And that kind of wraps up their story, right? I'm not missing anything, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, we forgot Laird walked us in.
Oh, yeah, Laird. I forgot.
Yeah.
Laird just walked in and he's like, whoa, this is cool. Look at all this. This is really artistic. This is really nice. Yeah. Very cool.
And he mentioned that he just met the future love of his life. And it's the actress playing Hannah that he walked past. And I was like, that's great. That's so perfect. Because he always had a weird thing for Hannah, too. And I guess the sister's just MIA? Adam's sister is gone? Like, there's no mention. They were like, hey, we're going down to Laird's place to film this scene.
Never got any closure on Caroline. We have no idea where she is.
Yeah.
Adam seems like fine that Laird's like, I'm going to try and hook up with this other chick.
Yeah. You know, and it's a big thing with the next thing we're dealing with Hannah and her pregnancy and motherhood and stuff. And we got a MIA mother. Who, I don't know if she got help for her postpartum depression that it seemed like she was going through. You know?
We don't know anything after that episode with Caroline.
Yeah.
We don't even see the baby anymore. Like, Laird's just walking around. He's like, hey, what's up? He's all cool. Adam and Jessa aren't taking care of it anymore.
Well, that should have stopped early. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to settle that. If so, maybe it'll be like a line off screen, but you would think it would happen now.
Yeah.
He's talking about the future love of his life right now. It's weird.
You know, I think the pairing of Laird and Adam would be good parental figures.
Okay.
Like, get
the balance. You mean
the
balance of like Laird being like very sensitive.
He's the fun dad.
Yeah, and
Adam's the nurturing disciplinarian type. You know?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. That's another fanfic that someone can write. Adam and Laird rated baby.
Yeah, regardless, that baby's gonna end up kind of fucked up. I feel bad for all the babies in this.
Everybody's fucked up. All of them.
Yeah. And that's it for Adam and Jessa and a little bit of Laird. Yeah, I guess we get to Hannah now.
Yeah. We already covered her opening scene.
Yeah. Opening scene where she's looking at the lentil. That's how big her baby is currently. Then we see her typing out a list of all the reasons why she should not have a baby. And there are some choice reasons on there.
I kind of got locked in on one of them and didn't see a lot of the other ones.
All right, I got locked in on like 2 or 3 of them.
Okay.
I paused so I could read the whole thing.
Okay, great.
I only wrote down my favorites.
Yep.
Here's what I got. These are the reasons that Hannah should not have a baby. One of the reasons was she's bad at sports.
Okay.
Another reason is she makes less than $24,000 a year.
Okay.
Which, how the fuck do you survive in New York City? Less than $24,000 a year, even with roommates. That's insane.
I think I've done it before.
Really?
Yeah.
How many roommates did you have?
2.
Okay. Yeah, I think if she had like 3 roommates, I'd be like, okay, that makes more sense.
No, if you
But-
my rent was like $700 a month, so that's like
Well, also, when was that? That wasn't in 2017.
no, not 2017, but I think before that. Like
Yeah.
post college stuff.
Do you ever like get on Zillow and see what the prices of apartments are in New York currently?
Not really, but SNL did a really funny Zillow like home thing for like people in their 30s recently. On
Yeah.
that.
Dude,
No, I mean,
I was on Zillow
Yeah.
not too long ago looking at New York apartments to see like if I could afford. Dude, I could not afford to live there on my own.
dude, we live in California. It's just it's so expensive here too.
It's crazy that it is so expensive here, but I couldn't get an apartment in New York for the amount of money that I'm paying right now. I'd have to live in like kind of farther out New Jersey.
Yeah.
And commute in on that New Jersey train that nobody ever wants to get
Yeah,
on.
I mean, renting in New York is a pain too, just because of they do the broker fees, what LA doesn't have, and
Yeah.
like it's so much. Like the down payment for getting an apartment is like first and last Social Security. It's like you're paying 4 months rent up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the broker fee you don't even get back.
Yeah. Someone showed you a rundown apartment and they just made like $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit.
Yep.
But so Hannah's making less than 24,000. Another reason why she shouldn't have a baby is she has oral herpes. Another reason why she doesn't want to have a kid is, or she shouldn't have a kid, is because she doesn't like having her nipples sucked.
Yeah. Those last 2 I saw for sure.
Yeah. Or what was the one that really stuck out to you?
The oral herpes one. I had noticed the first time and the second time when they cut back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
I was
is
like, okay, that seems
that's
like
not
low on the totem pole.
Yeah,
of-
dude, like everybody has oral herpes. Like if you go to a doctor and you get like an STD check, they're like, "Oh, dude, you get oral herpes from fucking your aunt kissing you." Like 80% of people have that shit.
I'm going to say I'm oral herpes free, fortunately.
Oh, one of the few.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cold
The
sore
one of the,
free.
one of the few, one of the proud, the herpes free.
Yes.
So while she's typing,
but this is not to shame other oral herpes.
there's no shame at all.
Yeah.
There's no shame in genital herpes. Fucking, there's no shame at all. Get it in, baby.
Oh my God. I feel another review coming.
Yeah, whatever. So as she's typing this is when Elijah walks in to let Hannah know that Hermie has died, and Hannah like slams her computer down. And she's like, "Yeah, this is like the saddest thing in the world. That's so sad for Ray." And then Elijah is like on all kinds of pills. He's on Adderall, and he's just pulling a bender, researching some Broadway star, I guess, on Facebook.
Former college. I wasn't really sure who they were talking about, and I didn't. I think it was a college friend or something that is in.
It was somebody. I think that he was in an a cappella group with the person, and now he's on Broadway in Kinky Boots. And Hannah's just like, "Oh, that's crazy. Can you clean up your room? My mom's visiting." And then Elijah's like, "We almost made out once." And blah blah.
Oh, you're skipping over a major part right here. That Elijah just laughs about Hermie's death.
Oh,
and just says,
oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's callous. Like he's just like, oh my God, Ray gets all this stuff. This is the best thing for Ray. Like, it's not a good look for Elijah right there.
Yeah, but what do you expect? That's the kind of reaction I would expect from Elijah.
Well, let's continue the episode then.
So, Hannah's mom comes to visit, and she's talking to Hannah, and she lets Hannah know, like, hey, I've been having a rough time, but my doctor prescribed me medical marijuana, and I've been loving it. And Hannah's like, oh, really? Did you bring any out here? Are you stoned right now? And the mom's like, no, I couldn't transport it, but I do have weed gummies. You want some? I already had 2.
Yeah, and she, I think she isn't used to how edibles work. Mm-hmm. They're not one of those things you just start popping, because it takes a while for them to kick in, and when they kick in, they hit hard. And if you've been just doing what she's doing, yeah, she's eating gummies like they're just gummy bears and all that shit. That's like one of the most cliche things in stand-up comedy. Like every fucking comic that's about weed has it like, I took these edibles and then I wasn't feeling anything. So then I ate like the whole batch of brownies and then, whoa. So fucking annoying. I hate that shit. I fucking hate it. I've heard it so often. Every stupid stoner has a story about, I didn't feel anything, so I ate a bunch more. And then I couldn't feel my feet. Yeah, you definitely need a good punchline for that. For that.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate that fucking. I don't know. I just don't. I don't drink or smoke or anything, but I like weed humor to a certain extent. But there's so many people out here that are just like, yeah, I fucking smoke weed. It's like, it's legal. Who gives a fuck? You're not a badass. Like, what are you fucking...
You're a big fan of the heroin comedians, right?
Yeah, give me something to spice it up, Like Doug Benson, it's not for me, man. And I don't know who could be into it at this point. It's so hack. I don't know. But her mom is like going fucking ham on some weed gummies. And then this is a perfect time for Hannah to tell her, like, hey, I just want you to know I wanted to talk to you about something really important, and it's a decision that I've made because I'm an adult. I'm pregnant, and I'm thinking about keeping the baby. And the mom is like, wow, was not expecting that.
I really wanted her to list what she was expecting. I was really waiting for that, like, funny comedy, like, three things that you thought it would be,
Yeah, her mom makes it, her mom thought it was going to be about her dad. She thought that Hannah was about to tell her something about Tad, the dad, the gay dad and his partner. And she's like, oh, I don't want to hear about it. And then Hannah's like, no, it's not about Dad. I'm pregnant. And she's like, okay, that's certainly something.
Yeah, and the mom has a great ending here where Hannah's talking about, like, she's going to keep it. And the mom's like, and you feel like it's your baby. Like, they both had this, like, understanding of, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hannah says something like, is it crazy that I kind of want to keep it? And the mom's like, you're starting to feel like, this is your baby. Yep. This is a thing. It's growing inside of you. Yeah. You're creating life.
Yeah. I mean, not
cool.
Faster than Adam's cranking out a movie, but,
I know, right? Adam's already fucking...
He's in post-production.
Vance is editing this shit already.
It's already released.
She's a big movie star now, and Hannah's still got a lentil in her.
She's 3 months in, and they already won the Academy Award. They have the Spirit Awards for indie filmmaking.
Yeah. He's winning it at the Slam Dance Festival, according to Laird.
Yeah.
So they go to the laundromat, and the mom is just like still chowing down on some weed gummies, and Hannah's kind of like, maybe you should slow down on that. You're only supposed to have like 1 or 2 of those. And the mom's like, I don't even really feel anything. Just like that hack stand-up bit that I was talking about.
Do you feel that this is hack too?
No, I don't feel like this is hack because it's a mom. It's a mom who's never done weed before. Like, I think it's hack when it's like a 25-year-old who knows weed culture.
Gotcha.
And is like, probably heard all of those stories. And I just fucking hate that shit. It's so hack. But anyway, the mom and Hannah are exchanging, Hannah seems upbeat about having the baby. And she's like, it's going to be great. You're going to be a grandma. And Laureen, the mom, is just in existential dread mode. Yeah. She's talking about how like she doesn't have much time left on this earth. And she's alone and nobody cares about her. And Hannah's like, what are you talking about? It's me. I care for you. Dad's there. And she says something about how she doesn't like going to the movies anymore because she doesn't like coming back home because she's afraid of what's in the home. And Hannah's like, oh, what? Like a robber's going to be in there? And the mom's like, no, I know no one's in there. And that is what's terrifying and awful to me. I'm just so alone and no one cares about me. And this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life. And then Hannah's like, you're full of shit. I care about you. You're about to be a grandma, the baby. And then Hannah's mom, Laureen, gets up. She was sitting on a table, gets off of the table, gets in Hannah's face. And she says, stop fucking saying that to me. And I was like, geez.
Yeah, that when she gets off the table, it's very frightening. But what she was saying, what she was reacting to was Hannah saying that you'll find somebody.
Oh, right.
So she was saying you'll find somebody, and then the mom's like, no, it's not going to happen. And then she says it a second time, and then that's when Lorraine gets, I mean, that shot of her coming in and saying, don't say that again was terrifying. Like if this was a horror movie or like a psychological thriller, it would be like, okay, this is a problem. Yeah,
that's some like misery level of insanity going on. What's the one where the Glenn Close Fatal Attraction?
Mm-hmm. Another thing here that got me was this is the first time I've seen someone unhappy to become a grandmother. Like it's not like she's becoming a grandmother and she's like early 40s, or something where she's like, oh, I'm too young to be a grandmother. Like normally like a person like this is like, yes, I get to be a grandmother, which, like it's always amazing that like you have kids and then your goal is to have your kids have kids and like you just get so like so invested in that kid. And I'm surprised she's like, oh, it's sad they won't have a grandmother. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I can't go on trips with them. I'm not going to go on trips alone. And he's like, you can come with me and Dad. And she's like, oh, with Dad and his partner or whatever. So I guess he's still with that guy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that Lorraine would have been happier if Hannah was in like a stable relationship. She would be happier to be a grandmother then.
I don't think that had anything to do with it because she's talking about herself the whole time. Like she's not saying, like at no point does it come up like, how are you going to do this by yourself or any of that stuff? Like,
yeah. So after that moment of don't fucking say that again to me, she takes Hannah's laundry and just dips out. She's like, I'm going back to the apartment. I don't want to be around you. And Hannah's like, I got like 2 towels that are still drying in here. You can't wait a minute? The mom's like, I don't even have a minute. Leaves. Hannah starts walking back to her place with her towels, sees that the mom left all of the clothes on Hannah's stoop along with her shirt or dress.
Do we ever follow up on that?
No, we do not, because she had a leopard print shirt on in the laundromat. She leaves it on Hannah's stoop, and then she goes missing, and Elijah and Hannah go searching for her. But when they find her, she's just wearing a different shirt.
Okay. All right.
Because Hannah was like, yeah, her top is on the stoop too. Like, we don't know what she's doing. She's cracked out on edibles. We don't know if she's like been sex trafficked. And we need to find her. And Elijah's like, oh, get my shoes. Like, let's go find your mom.
Yeah. And he's listening to the
Yeah, Semi-Charmed Life.
Yeah.
Acapella.
Yeah. That they were talking about earlier.
Baby, baby, I want something else to get me through this. A summertime kind of life.
I don't think any of our listeners were asking for that.
Yeah, well.
But if you were, let us know.
Yeah, if you like that singing voice,
If you-
look me up on Spotify. I do have an album out on Spotify.
Is it the same type of music?
No.
What is the name of this album if people are looking for it?
The album is called Joe Welke is Stuck. And it's because I wrote it and recorded all of it during the quarantine in my apartment. It's like garage rock type stuff. Arctic Monkeys, The Hives, The Vines. That's the vibe.
Okay.
Anyway, a little plug there for my album. That gets like 1 listen a week.
If you get 2, you know why this week.
Yeah. Yeah. So the mom's missing. Elijah and Hannah go out looking. They're just running through the streets of Brooklyn screaming Lorene. Eventually they get to a Chinese restaurant and, well, they call her and she's, out of her mind, stoned. Elijah gets the clue that she's in a Chinese restaurant. So then they start going to all these Chinese restaurants. Hannah orders a dumpling. They're like getting food as they're going along on this journey. Hannah gets a dumpling. They stop and get ice cream.
Well, that place that they go to get the dumpling, that's M Noodle. And I believe it's still there. And that was that place opened like a couple years. I mean, a while back now. But I used to go to that place late night. Because they were open super late. And
was that like a drunk hangout?
Yeah, it was definitely like an after bar, after being out. It was on my walk home on Metropolitan. Yeah. So like you could stop there, get something. Yeah, nice. There were certain things there that were good, like the pancakes and dumplings and stuff like that. Like the pork pancake or whatever, like stuff thing. Yeah. The noodles were alright. There was it's fine. It's serviceable for what it was. Not a bad place. Great that it was open late. No. Yeah,
I feel like when you're open that late, you can't really be too shocked and amazed at the cuisine.
I mean, it's New York, man. Everything's open late.
That is true.
Yeah.
What was your favorite late night after the bar place to go?
Probably just deli sandwiches from one of the mini bodegas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a big diner guy. I liked going. What was that place? Kellogg's in Williamsburg.
Yeah. I mean, M Noodle's right near Kellogg's. It's 2 blocks up or something on Metropolitan.
There was a place in Astoria that I fucking love going to. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it was it had a blue awning. It was right off of the Astoria Boulevard stop. That diner was the shit. Anyway, back to the pod. So they come across a group of gay gentlemen and they're screaming Lorene, and then all of them mockingly scream Lorene, and Hannah's like, this isn't helping.
Were they gay?
I would think so.
What made you say that they were gay?
It was a bunch of guys together.
Yes, a group of 4 guys have never walked from between bars.
It was 6 to 8 guys.
It was 4 people.
They were dressed kind of like how Elijah dresses when they go out, so that's what made me assume. And then they were also mocking Elijah's voice, I feel like.
I think they were just mocking 2 people walking around Brooklyn screaming out someone's name and being drunk.
That was a very ineffective way to search for somebody.
Yeah, I completely was on the side of those guys when they were saying that. That's definitely some drunk nonsense that you would do.
Yeah. I feel like they were gay though. I don't know why. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, it's a bunch of gay guys.
All right.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even. Yeah.
Hey, I'm open to being wrong about this.
Okay.
So yeah, eventually they find the mom in a Chinese restaurant. Do you remember what that Chinese restaurant was?
That one I wasn't sure of. Yeah.
Okay. So they find her, and then Hannah's like, where the hell were you? And Elijah sits down. He's like, ooh, sweet, pot stickers. And he's just having a good time. the mom is like, I'm so stoned. And Elijah's like, oh, you're adorable. And Hannah's admonishing her, just being like, you can't just go off like that. You're stoned out of your mind. Like, you can't just leave. I was worried about you and you weren't picking up your phone. And then the mom's like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. We're all having a good time here. Let's have a toast. Let's toast to Hannah's baby. And then bumps the belly.
Yeah.
And Elijah's like, ha, 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 yeah, right, baby. And then it slowly dawns on him that, oh, this is serious. Hannah's pregnant. And she's like, I didn't want you to find out like this.
Situations like this in shows, I always wonder, like, I know why they don't do it in the show because they want to get to the next scene, but I always wonder why the person doesn't play it off.
Yeah, right?
Like Hannah seems like, oh, I'm caught. There's no way to get out of this. I'm like, you could just say. You could literally just say, Mom, you're being stoned. What are you talking about? I'm not like, you could just get past that and then wait till the next day and talk to like Elijah in the way that you wanted to tell him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand that. It's like she could easily be like, haha, yeah, to my baby, and then just sit down and like move past it.
Yeah. Instead it's like, weird look, weird look, weird look, weird look. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just always wonder why I've never like seen that happen in a show, really.
Yeah. So then Elijah just gets like super fucking pissed, which I was confused about.
Yeah, it felt on brand and forced at the same time.
Yeah. So Elijah gets super pissed, gets up from the table, runs away, and Hannah like finds him in the kitchen and confronts him, and she's like, okay, so I'm pregnant. I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you, but you were going to be the second person. Like, I wanted to tell my mom first, which is not that unreasonable.
Yeah, the dad's not even number 2.
Yeah, right? That is ridiculous that Elijah would get upset about that.
Yeah. I could see her telling Elijah before telling anyone else, actually.
I get that. But if you're Elijah, you have to understand, like, there are more important people in her life.
Well, I don't think Elijah cares much about being ordered that he's told. He's just upset that it's happening and people are growing up and changing. Because the episode when they go networking, Jessa tells them to grow up. And it seems like that's Elijah. That's been Elijah's arc since Dill Harcourt, where he's like, yeah, you're just not mature enough yet, you know, like. And that's really
he's got a little Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah, and like he's been spiraling just on Adderall for days at a time, and just, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think he just like, oh wait, you're gonna be the first one to grow up, I guess, because I mean, she'll have to be responsible at that point.
Yeah. So he's pissed, and he basically is like, Hannah, this is a bad idea. You can barely take care of yourself. And you're going to have a baby, and then what? Like, you're going to move out? He's like, I wasn't planning on moving out. I was planning, like, we could raise the baby together. Like, what a fucking thing to thrust upon a person.
Yeah, that one's the merit on Hannah. To be like, oh yeah, I'm going to have this baby, and obviously you're going to be there and help me take care of it.
Yeah. It was just like, well... Like, Elijah doesn't want to have a baby in his space either. Like, you wouldn't want a baby around. Like, he's having orgies and shit.
Yeah, like, and he's not ready to give that up yet, so.
Yeah, no. But he's basically upset that it's going to ruin their friendship or change the way that their relationship is. He's like, you know, we've got a good thing going. You're going to fuck it up with a baby. Yeah. And then he drops the bomb that he thinks that Hannah's going to be a terrible mother.
Maybe the worst thing he's ever said. And horrible for him to say that. It's one thing for Hannah's mom to kind of say that in a more tactful way, if she was to say it. But for Elijah, her closest friend at this point, like, he is her close friend. Like, it's not Marnie, it's not Jessa. Like, this is the person she confides in. That hurts, man. That one stung. Yeah. That one just felt rough. And we have to mention, this is all taking place in the kitchen. And there's people working. I do not understand why they've not kicked them out of the kitchen. Because if you've worked at a restaurant's kitchen, You can't have two people just standing in there.
Yeah.
It's stuff is moving around. You got to get around. No way.
Yeah, even like somebody walks by them and he's like, hey, can we have a minute here? We're having an emotional thing. Like, we're trying to fucking work here. This is not like an emotional thing having space.
I was like, how is no one yelling at them and saying, get the hell out of the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Hannah starts crying and then Elijah's like, oh, what? You're going to start crying now? And then he like shoulder checks her.
Yeah, man. It's harsh.
Yeah, it's very harsh.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Hannah kind of knows deep down that there's a little bit of truth to what he's saying because she's writing a list about like all the reasons why I shouldn't be a mom.
Well,
she kind of has an idea of like, it might be a bad idea. And I think that is, but there is much more tactful ways to go about saying that as opposed to just being like, you're going to be a horrible mother.
Well, I think the thing is, it's not about what he says, but why he's saying it. He's not saying it as a way to protect her from making a mistake. He's saying it out of self-interest, and that's what makes it awful. Like, he's only caring about himself. Like, if he thought she would be a horrible mother, that's fine, but he's not saying it because, like, he's worried about her. He's saying it to be mean because she's hurt him somehow by doing something that he doesn't.
Yeah, she's fucking up his lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's when... That's the negative of what Elijah's doing. Because and the thing I'll say about people being terrible mothers and stuff, like, nobody's ever ready. No one ever knows when they have a kid what it's going to be like. And I don't think Hannah would be I don't think she would be a bad mother per se. Like, there will be issues. Like, her own mom has got issues. But like, we've seen Hannah with the students in her school, and like, she definitely connected with those kids. Even though some stuff she shouldn't do, but I mean, not everybody's parent is just gonna be, sitcom family story ready, like, it's not a storybook parenthood,
I think that she would not be a good mother just because she doesn't have her shit together.
But I don't think anybody a lot of people don't have their shit together at that point.
Yeah, but like, I'm not saying shit together as in not just financially and like prepared to have a baby or like having somebody that she can do it with. She just has such erratic behavior that I'd be worried that it would be another Caroline situation.
I mean, you have to think about the emotional status and like stuff like that. But I feel like, I don't know, the scene earlier with her and her mom, where it's like, you feel like it's your baby, and then the mom talking about how she loved being pregnant and stuff like that. I feel like that is what Hannah would have. Like, she would have this new focus.
I don't know. Yeah. I just, and it's also like her support system is crumbling around her as well. Like, her mom is out of her mind.
She's got her dad and his partner living like in the city now.
That's true. I think Tad would be there for her and help.
I think, I mean, it'll be weird. It'll be different, but I think it'll be fine because I'm happy that Marnie and Jessa aren't a part of the story right now. Like, I don't think if she had her close group of friends, she'd be better off,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm worried for that baby.
I'm not worried about TV baby. I mean, we don't even know where the other baby is that's actually in the show. So
yeah, the baby that played a pivotal role for a couple episodes.
Would you say Laird is the person you would be like is ready for fatherhood?
No,
but I think he'll be the baby.
Dude, my first thought when he showed up to this film set was like, who's taking care of the baby?
I mean, he's got family members. Like,
see, that's the thing is he's got support system. Like, Adam and Jessa were taking care of the baby.
But he has like other, like, remember, like, the sister went to a compound with his family. Like, he has other people. Like, we don't know enough about Laird. He knows he doesn't have to carry the baby around with him every second.
I'm worried for Laird's baby sample or whatever.
Yeah, I'm worried about that name. The kid's got a lot to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after Elijah and Hannah's blow up, she goes back to the table where her mom is, and she's researching marijuana poisoning. And she's like, oh, you got the classic signs of marijuana poisoning, but here's the thing. No one has ever overdosed or died from marijuana, so you're not going to die tonight. And the mom is, she's deep in existential dread at this point. The mom, I don't know the conversation leading up to this, but it's kind of the same existential dread. And then she says to Hannah, like, Hannah says something about, like, you know, we're here for you, and like, you're going to have a baby, you're going to be a grandmother soon, and so you'll have the baby to take care of and look after. And then mom says, every time I look at that baby, I will see my own death.
Yeah. There's a lot of death in this episode.
Oh, yeah. And then she looks down at her plate, she sits up, and just barfs all over herself.
It was gross.
It was so nasty.
It was like all the like spinach stuff and those dumplings just all like came out, like it exploded out of her. It was.
Yeah. And Hannah's like, Mom.
And if Hannah can take care of her mom in this situation, she'll be fine with a baby. They're smaller.
Yeah, that's true. She did take care of her dad, who was naked and cracked his head on the tub.
And her dad, who had his first like gig.
Unprotected sex.
Yeah, and like she had to go in and like get his wallet.
Yeah.
Like, these are the people who raised her. Like, you know what I mean? So
it was so gross.
Yeah.
I was writing something down. I was writing down the quote of, every time I see your baby, I'll see my own death. And then I looked up just in time to watch her just fucking exorcist puke all over herself.
Yeah. It kind of, I could see where the mom is coming from with that line, though. It's harsh the way it's said, but it is like true. Like,
absolutely.
Like, that's the future, and you are not. You've done your job. Yeah.
Yep. It's over.
Yeah.
You're in the home stretch.
Yeah, she's got to find something though to fulfill the rest of her life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She can live a life without Tad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after this, Hannah's walking home, and she's going up to her apartment, and she walks by the actress who is playing her in Adam's movie. She looks at her and she's like, hey, do you mind if I sit down with you? There's somebody I'm trying to avoid up there. And she's like, yeah, go ahead. Actress is smoking a cigarette. She's like, did you just move in here or something? Or why are you here? And the actress is like, oh, I'm actually acting in a movie where I play this love interest. And Hannah's like, oh, is it Adam Sackler's movie by any chance? She's like, yeah, actually. And she's like, do you know him? And Hannah's like, oh, I barely know him.
Which is great.
And then she's like, so how do you like playing the role of the love interest in Adam's movie? And she's like, oh, it's great. I really love this character. She's mentally ill. And Hannah's like, oh, nice, very nice.
I forget what else she said about it, but yeah, it was like, it wasn't the most flattering portrayal of the character. Even though he's portraying it pretty accurately, it seems, in the film.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Then Hannah's like, just want you to know, like, I'm pregnant. And then she's like, oh, I'll stop smoking. And they start to bond over kids because the actress has 3 kids, apparently. And she's like, oh, I love being pregnant. She's just kind of talking with Hannah about being pregnant and motherhood. And it's kind of comforting Hannah to hear a positive thing instead of, every time I look at your baby, I'll see death and you are going to be a horrible mother.
Yeah.
So it's a good little bow at the end of the episode to have somebody being like, oh, dude, you're going to love it. It's great. I loved being pregnant. I've got 3 kids. They're the best. And then we get the super, super deep quote where Hannah's like, I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like it's going to be hard. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I'm going to bring a baby into this world. And then the actress takes a drag of her cigarette. Hey, let me tell you something, man. Having kids is easy. Being an adult, that's what's hard.
I feel like that's the theme of girls in general.
Yeah.
That's the theme of this series, right? Like them
having to grow up sucks.
Yeah. Like girls becoming women, becoming like people in the world, like, and I thought the best way for them, not the best way, but one way that they were going to show that was going to be through Shoshana's character, just because she was going to be right behind them. But we really didn't get that the way it was set up from the beginning. We never got Shoshana really like, we had like a scene here or there of her being like, oh yeah, this is harder than I thought. But we don't get that full trajectory.
I mean, we barely get Shoshana in episodes at this point anymore at all.
And this seems like the time that you would want her to be in it to pay off that thing. To have like Hannah, like she doesn't get a lot of scenes with Hannah at all. And like, it felt like there needed to be something there. But with this last scene, I also want to comment that the actress is wearing like a similar dress. And then the way they're sitting with their feet like kind of like pigeon-toed in on the stoop is like identical. So she's got a little doppelganger there. The girl's done, this funny. Actress has done a magnificent job of embodying Hannah. Like without
a character
ever having met her,
Mira Morvath.
Yeah. The actress is Daisy Egan. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
Or I mean, I might have. I just wouldn't have known. I would have been like, oh yeah, you played a Hannah stand-in in a show I've never watched.
And that's the episode, everybody. Any final thoughts on this episode, Vance?
No. I think it's time to get to our
mid-season likability rankings.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting one. Mainly because some of the characters just like aren't in it.
Yeah, I mean, this season we had 2 episodes where people have just been like, Hannah's been away the first episode, and then Desi and Marnie went away another episode, and then another episode was just Hannah and Chuck Palmer, So
yeah, I don't really know what. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. Are we doing guys and girls?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You start off with the guys. Who you got in the basement? I got
Chuck Palmer as the worst, just because he's not really a guy, but I just want to mention him as being awful. So he's
definitely at the like far and away dead last.
Dead last, yeah.
What a fucking psycho! Great episode. Total psychopath.
Yep. I have Desi at the bottom, just for the horror show that he put up when they went to that house. I'm with you. He's got a little bit of redemption with the therapy thing, but like from just having that, like, actually with Desi, it's I'm gonna have Desi just out of like historical lastness. Right above him, I got Elijah. Because this episode, and
he burned all of his goodwill, right to the ground.
Yeah,
like right to the ground. But before we, Elijah for sure.
Yeah. And then I got Adam, and then Ray at the top. And honorable mention, Riz Ahmed's character from the first episode. What was his name? Louis something. It was like
it was 2 names.
Yeah.
Paul Louis.
Yeah, he would fall somewhere upper middle, just because his only issue was not mentioning he had a girlfriend, but also like that wasn't a problem because they had an open relationship. So
yeah, he didn't find it to be like an important thing to do.
Yeah.
My rankings are definitely Chuck Palmer at the bottom. If we're including him, that guy fucking sucked. Yeah. That guy was just straight up evil.
Yeah. We're including him just because of how evil he was.
Yeah. Like, and that episode had such an impact on me. Like, that episode was wild, dude. Yeah. Great episode.
You started reading books after that, didn't you?
Yeah, total scumbag. And then above him, I also have Desi. And I know that he has kind of a redemption going on with his therapy thing, but that doesn't excuse his behavior of just like being a fucking insane person at that cabin. And also,
did we see him in anything else besides the cabin? Was the cabin the first thing we saw him in? Or no, the first time we see him is when they're having sex, I think.
yeah, and then they're like going through with the divorce stuff. And then that's when they hook up and then they get back together, sort of.
Okay, yeah.
Then above him, Elijah, just like you. Elijah, totally. I'm a big fan of Elijah. I think he's a great character.
Yeah.
But that scene today,
Yeah.
fucking atrocious.
Yeah, when you mess up, we let you know it. Sorry,
Yeah.
you drop down,
You
Elijah.
fall. You fall.
Yeah.
Then around here, well, no, this is where I'd have Adam as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same with you.
And yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Adam hasn't really done anything offensively bad, but he's just kind of there at this point.
The only thing I got for him is that he quit the movie that he was working on, which is kind of just not like a cool thing to do with all the people that are working for him. It's like, how would Adam feel if this Hannah actress just walked out because she didn't like working with him? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of thing.
She didn't like getting her ass beat.
Yeah, like it's just like when you're on a film set, it's a team thing, and especially if you're an actor like you. Like if a grip leaves or like the sound person leaves, you can get a new sound person. But when the person you filmed your movie with leaves, it's not as easy as just replacing them. So that's why he's down. But like he hasn't done anything egregious, especially for Adam. So
yeah. Or he could do like one of that. What was that Bob Dylan movie where like 45 different actors and actresses played Bob Dylan? Remember that movie?
No, the only Bob Dylan movie I remember is the Cate Blanchett one. Right? Didn't she play?
Yeah,
Bob?
I think that's the one where there were other actors playing Bob Dylan in different scenes. I could be. I think that's true. Then right above Adam, that's where I would put Riz Ahmed, Paul Louis. That's where I would put his character.
Yeah.
Just because he was like a positive vibes guy, and he didn't really do anything wrong except for like last minute disclosing that he's got a girlfriend, but they're in an open relationship, so I don't know. I don't know the rules on that.
Yeah, and he didn't disclose it in a malicious way too. He was like, "Oh, cool, you get to meet her." Like he wasn't even like he didn't even think it was something wrong with it, Well,
so, he was also like, "Yeah, you could totally stay here and it'll be awesome, and I want you to stay. You're awesome, and I want you to meet my girlfriend." And then Han's like, "What?"
Yeah, like he wasn't like, "Well, you probably shouldn't stay because I don't want you around." Like, he was a interesting character,
Yeah, I liked him a lot. And then top spot. Ray, obviously.
Yeah.
Ray is just a good dude. I like that he grew a spine with Marnie in this episode. Because in the last episode we saw them together, he was kind of having that shell shock moment where she's talking about all the reasons why she can't hang out with him. And he's just kind of lost in his own world. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And then this time around, he finally nutted up and was like, you know what, let's just fucking break up. I know you don't want to be doing this. Let's just like stop wasting my time, stop wasting each other's time.
Yeah.
And I like his new outlook on life with Hermie's death. I think that's nice, and maybe some positive will come. And hopefully in the back half of the season, maybe he and Shoshana start to go out again. I don't know.
I don't even know if I'm rooting for that because I don't want him to ruin it with his dick. Like that relationship could fall apart once they start sleeping together again. But I'm okay if they do get together, but I'm okay if they don't,
Yeah, I really like their relationship at this point, I guess. Yeah, who knows?
Just dabble outside of the girls' circle, Just see if there's anybody else.
Yeah, find yourself a nice young Jewish woman.
Yeah.
And get it going, Ray. You're a good dude. And that is the boys' likability rankings.
Yep. And
now we get to the gals.
Well, we already know who's on the bottom of this one.
Absolutely. We are in agreement here.
Yeah, Shoshana,
Definitely.
you are the...
You are the weakest link.
Yeah. No, it's definitely Marnie. Like
Marnie is such a trash monster in this season, man.
My notes are callous to Desi, callous to Ray.
Yep. And like that's all we see of her. Like we talked about it earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
her only scenes in the last couple episodes are her just being awful and then trying to convince herself that she's not being awful. And trying to convince other people that
I should also rate
awful.
Callous to Hannah when she makes Hannah go on her like adulterous trip to Poughkeepsie.
Yes. Yes.
Like, why are you doing this? Not only are you cheating on Ray, you're openly doing it, and then you want Hannah to be an accessory.
Yeah.
Like,
it's awful, dude.
Yeah.
She sucks. She used to be like at least a kind of nuanced, I see where she's coming from. Their life is complicated. I've been in relationships like this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just like, oh, you suck.
Yeah, like, yeah, there's no nuance to it. It's just like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. You're wrong. This is where it starts to get tricky, though.
Okay.
I kind of have Jessa next, but like not based off much. Like she's kind of rude to Shoshana a little bit during the networking event and like weaseling her way in, but that's just annoyances more than like
she's not as bad as she used to be.
And she brought up a great point of how they only care about her dating Adam, but no one cared about Ray dating Marnie, which I thought was a great point. Like, excellent point. Like, why is there that double standard there? You know?
Yeah, I also have Jessa at number 3 for the same reasons. I think that today's episode where she's kind of wanting the film to be more like bad towards Hannah is a little selfish, and like the networking event, she was kind of a dickhead.
I'll say with her in today's episode, that jealousy is like, I get it though. Like that I get. Like you're watching the guy that you're with, like, and it's not like he's just doing this with some random actress, like, and you're like, oh, I don't like you being with this actress. It's like, oh, I'm seeing you pretend like how you were with Hannah, my friend. Like, and I'm seeing this for the first time. Yeah. I'm
watching you reenact your love story with my former best friend.
Yeah. So I get Jessa being off put there. So I don't even hold that against her really, So she's kind of like, she's like 3 by default for me.
See, I hold it against her because she didn't read the script and she could have known what was coming.
Well, that's exactly what you expect from Jessa. It is insane that she didn't read the script.
Yeah. Like she should have read the script, and if she didn't like what was going on, or like she could have got clarification from Adam of like, what is this movie about? Like she seems to think that the movie is going to be like, oh, isn't this fucking chick crazy and awful I'm the best?
She didn't have time to read the script when they finished it and got production up in 2 days.
All right, fair point.
And then Hannah is number 2.
Same.
And not for anything big either, just like little stuff here and there. Being a little rude at the surf camp, being judgy at the surf camp. Chuck Palmer stuff, she's in the right, so I don't got anything against that. I thought she handled that as well as she could have, and is in a terrible position. I thought she handled going to Poughkeepsie fine. She just wanted to go there and wanted to write. She didn't want to be there, but she did it. She did more for Marnie than Marnie did for Ray when someone died. She's going on a weekend trip with you two, and you can't stay in a house with Ray for an hour.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Hannah's my number 2 as well. But I think it's like the chasm between Marnie and the rest of them is so wide.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like Marnie's so far and away the worst. And then 3, 2, and 1 are kind of, if you juggled them, I could see arguments for either one of them being the most likable or the least likable of those 3.
Yeah.
They're all kind of in the same camp. I think Hannah's pretty likable, and and she, like you said with the Chuck Palmer episode, it was good. Yeah. It was just a great episode. She was in the right. The surf camp thing was a little weird.
And last
Yeah.
episode, she just got a UTI and found out she was pregnant. Like, that's all that really happened last episode, you know? Like, so.
Yeah, and this episode, she's like trying to comfort her mom and deal with her own pregnancy and
Yeah.
let people know like what the deal is. So yeah, nothing really egregious. She's just not as likable as Shoshana.
If it was a scale, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and then Marnie at 10. You know, like that's the gap.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to visualize it. And yeah, Shoshana's number one. Just for fact that she's barely in a lot of, like, this episode, she's in one scene with Ray. The other one, she's in a scene with Ray right before he goes to find Hermie. And then I feel like in another episode, she's just there when they have their like married couple breakfast thing when Ray goes to stay with Shoshana. And then it's the networking, right? That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think so the first episode is when Marnie's kind of jealous of Ray and Shoshana's relationship type thing. So that's all we get there, which is like nice. Like, she's just being friendly and they have a good relationship, her and Ray. Then the hostage situation one, that's the networking event one, and she didn't really do anything wrong there except for be kind of slimy and gross about networking so hard.
But like, that's just
that's the name of the game.
Yeah, like, she just wants to network, and she's hurt that the people she was with are successful and she's not. Like, that's just normal human shit.
Yeah, that's just how the game's played at this point. You know, you gotta go network and be fake as fuck and kiss asses. Then the next episode is the American bitch one, which she's not in at all. Then the next one is her telling Ray not to kill himself. Yeah. And then today is her lamenting the life of Hermie with Ray. And
I thought you were gonna say her saying, "I'm never gonna die."
Yeah, and then we find out that she's immortal this episode.
Yeah. she can't commit suicide.
She's still number one, man.
Yeah.
There was only like a couple of times where she wasn't number one. And I think it was like weird because Jessa was number one.
Yeah. I mean, these characters have gone through the rotation. You know, I don't know if Marnie's ever been. I think Marnie might have been number one in our when we would do these randomly.
Yeah.
When we weren't so structured as mid-season and post-season.
Yeah, I feel like I may have had Marnie at number one of those random times, but
I'm gonna say season 2. I'm sure Marnie was definitely up because Hannah was dropping fast.
Yeah. It is true that they have gone through all of the rankings, though. Like, it's not a consistent this person's awful and then a consistent this person's amazing.
Yeah.
That's just life, though. You know.
Yeah.
That's just how life goes. It ebbs and flows, Vance. You know, you never know when it's going to end.
You could argue Elijah's like just above Chuck Palmer. And Desi's like above him, you know, like you could argue Desi's above him.
But that is our final mid-season likability rankings. I'm excited to see where this all ends up. And that's the episode for today. Any final thoughts before we preview the next episode, Vance?
No, let's get this title. What is this thing called?
Next episode is titled Full Disclosure. I think this one's going to be about Hannah finding the surf guy, Riz Ahmed, Paul Louis. She's going to tell him about her being pregnant. That's what I think it's going to be.
That's a really good, I think that's a really good prediction. I was going to say something about the movie, but like the movie, I'll say yes, something will come out about Adam's movie, even though I think they've already done enough with her, seeing her. The person playing her.
Do you think that it's going to be her telling Adam and Jessa that she's pregnant?
Ooh, could be.
I feel like that's another, I don't know. Why should be nothing about that?
It's Tad is going to get married. Tad is going to get married. He's proposed and he's going to get married again.
Or Tad is already married and he's telling Hannah, like, hey, full disclosure, I'm married.
An engagement takes a lot longer than it takes to write and get a crew together for a movie.
All right. Well, those are our predictions for the next episode. Let's see if we're right. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to write in to us, if you have any notes or anything, fucking BoysWatchingGirlsPodcast at gmail.com. We've got Instagram. We post funny Boys Watching Girls memes on there. Boys Watching Girls Podcast on Instagram. And leave us a rate and review on Apple iTunes. The latest reviews are all basically calling me a douche. So if you want to bury those, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, or just pile on, actually.
I love it. Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time for Full Disclosure. See ya.